Obviously there's a very popular session next door, and everyone that's here clearly knows everything about Google and what they're doing, so appreciate you coming along. Everyone can hear me okay? Okay. Now I thought it best I'm going to be talking today about some online bingo market trends here in the UK. So let's start, and I'll first of all just have a bit of a talk about who am I? Now, my name is Scott Logan, for those of you who don't know me. I've been in the online gaming industry for around 15 years now, but for the past 7 of them, I've been focusing predominantly on the UK online bingo market. Co-founded Bingoport.co.uk, the online bingo portal, in 2007, along with running many other projects in the online bingo space. Now, what am I doing here today? I'm here today to bring you some trends on the online bingo market in the UK, and some other opportunities that we've seen as affiliates, and also with some other things that we're doing. What we'll be talking about, going through some bingo trends data, some player survey data, and then talking at the end about the Bingoport Players' Choice Awards and the analysis of that. All right, so let's go on. So bingo trends. What is bingo trends? There's 2 main parts to bingo trends. First of all, we monitor bingo rooms. So 24/7, we monitor the players, jackpots, everything that's going on in the online bingo rooms across the whole UK market. Added to that, we use our primary bingo portal, Bingoport, to the database that we have there to survey all of our users on an ongoing basis. And all of those things together brings together to Bingo Trends. And basically Bingo Trends, it's an online tool that provides monitoring and tracking of sites' marketing campaigns, along with our quarterly reports that we give to our subscribers. Now I'll go through some of this data with you today. The hope is that you can use it for what you guys do as affiliates or as operators. There's a few slides on numbers and things like that in here, so if you would like the presentation at the end, just I'll give you my details and I can send it on to you. And I think it's being recorded as well. Also, don't know if anyone's seen it, but there's a few of the magazines around. The IGB affiliate magazine that's out this month. I did, for anyone that doesn't know a lot about the UK bingo industry that's here, there's a bit of information that I did in there about the history and how it came to be what it is today. So it's a good read, and I recommend just having a look at that just to give you an idea of where we're at. So without further ado, I'll go on. The UK bingo market. Now I wanted to give you a snapshot of where it is today. Just bear in mind that these numbers don't include side games, such as slots, casino games, and other non-bingo games. And of course, our view based on this data is that the market in the UK is getting very saturated, and a few things I'll show you later will show you that as well. So for the final quarter of 2011, between October and December, here's how we see it. There was 6.2 million cash games played in online bingo in the UK by about 463,000 unique players, with estimated bingo wagering of £243 million. So that's real rooms, real cash players, and real bingo turnover. So who are the leaders in the UK market today? Very interestingly, this is the graph, and you can see Tombola is commanding just over 30% of the market as a whole. Then we have Gala Bingo with just over 10%, Jackpot Joy, Foxy, Costa, Mecca, Wink, Sun, Cheeky and Sky rounding out the top 10. And obviously there's over 350 real unique online bingo sites serving the UK now. So if you have a think and say, well, okay, Tombola's got 30%, the rest have about 40% combined that's on this list. And there's some other big names that aren't on this list. So you can see that it's getting a really tough market when you think that the top 10 are here and then there's sort of 30% left of the remaining 300 odd sites. So that's sort of where we see the size of the market and who the major players are at the moment. Excuse me. It's been a big few days of partying. Right. So now I just wanted to share with you some bingo player sentiment data. We use our database to survey our members quite often. We use that in our quarterly reports. And we like to call it the player sentiment data. So it gives us a good idea of what the players are thinking and what they're doing in the online bingo space. So I wanted to share some of this with you today. And first of all, we have the top 5 influencing factors for someone to join and play, make their first deposit at a real money bingo site. So at number 5, we have television advertising. So over 40 sites have done TV campaigns in 2011. Now, when you think about it, that's a lot, and especially if you think about what sports sites are doing and things like that, 40 for online bingo is a lot. Now, we've found that it's a great way to instill trust into bingo players. It also helps with brand recognition. Oop, did that not come up? Okay. It also helps with brand recognition and player decision behaviour. So the next is the bingo software that's used. Now, there's 2 major bingo software providers in the market, but there's a lot more unique ones that are starting up and coming online now that are really starting to make a difference. But we find that if players can easily use the software, they use familiarity of the software and fast load times, that makes a real difference in players joining and sticking around at online bingo sites. The next is word of mouth, so referral from friends and family. We know that bingo players are very social in nature, and they do a very good job of talking to each other, so that is one of the big things. And number 2, website recommendation. For some reason this isn't coming out quite correctly. This could be an affiliate site, but also we feel that it's also Google and Bing. When you think about it, people are searching for bingo. If they see the results on Google, they're going to see that as a trustworthy source, and they're going to go to the sites, and that's a website referral. And it's probably also why there's cutthroat competition at the moment in the organic space for search, and also in PPC, as probably a lot of people in here know. And finally, the number 1 reason is sign-up bonus. It's obviously important to players. And nowadays, sites are offering 100% to 500% deposit bonus on first deposits of anywhere between £5 and £10. And it's very cutthroat in this marketplace. We're also seeing fewer sites offer free no deposit bonuses. What we're seeing there is, as the market gets more saturated, websites can't afford to offer these no deposit bonuses all the time. And so what they're doing, new sites are offering these no deposit bonuses to build liquidity, and they scale it back. So that's why people, and I'll just show you the percentages. Didn't come up either, but basically around 50% of people say that sign-up bonus is the reason why they're choosing a site, making their first deposit and sticking around. And then on the other side, we asked people why people were leaving online bingo sites. Because we felt that this was important, because the churn rate in online bingo at the moment is quite phenomenal. The first, we have unimpressive chat hosts. So for a lot of players, having a poor chat experience with the chat hosts, or chat hosts that don't reach expectations, are a reason for people to be leaving websites. Time and time again, we're a bingo review site. People tell us things, and time again we hear people say, well, went to this site, played there, and the chat host didn't respond to me, and that's enough reason for someone to leave. With so many other sites in the marketplace, people will leave and not go back to that site again just because of that reason. So it's a real problem, and it's something that sites need to get better at. The next one is too many players in rooms. For many, this means less perceived value in the games that they're playing. But actually, interestingly, just outside of this top 5 was too few players in the rooms. So there needs to be a happy medium. And from what we've found with our research is that somewhere in the vicinity of between 20 and 30 players per bingo room. However, it can be as low as 20, depending on, as long as people are chatting and the prizes are decent. And it can also be as high as 100 if the prizes need to be decent, and the chat needs to be happening as well. So then the next is unwelcoming roomies. For those that like to chat, obviously it comes back to unimpressive chat hosts. It's another reason why people are leaving sites because they have a fight within the room. So that's up to the chat hosts again. So it comes back to the unimpressive chat hosts as well. Now the top 2 reasons actually revolve around depositing, withdrawing, and bonus cash. So we're finding that we have difficult withdrawal processes and restrictive wagering requirements are the 2 top reasons why people are leaving bingo websites. Now we got some sites and some networks are very well known for placing a lot of restrictions on the withdrawal of their money. And people, when they get their money, they feel that it's theirs and they should be able to get it quickly. And linked with that, many sites give a lot of bonus cash, but they heavily restrict the withdrawals based on playthrough and other wagering requirements. So we're finding that people are really responding poorly to when they have bad experiences. They're moving on very quickly. As well, there's a lot of confusing rules around these withdrawal requirements. Most players really have come up against this at some point in their playing time, so it's not unusual to hear about. And if this is going to come up, which it didn't, oh yes, no. Basically, around 55% of people are talking about withdrawal processes and the reasons why they're leaving. Okay, so then we talk about. So then we wanted to look at how many sites players are joining and how many sites players are sticking around with. So this graph here actually shows how many bingo sites players have joined in their lifetime, and as you can see, 3 or more sites is accounting for a fair percentage, and 10 plus sites is over 20%. So it's a big deal that people are joining and depositing in a lot of different sites now. But the big telling factor here is that on the other hand, a massive 55%, as you can see here, of all players are only regularly playing at one online bingo site. So there is talk of people going around different promotions all the time, but the reality is they're playing at 1 or 2, as you can see, just over 20% are playing at 2 sites. So people have their favourites. They might go and shop around at new sites, which is some other research we did that shows that while it's really easy for new sites to attract new bingo players, it's getting harder and harder and way more expensive to keep them around. And I think that's where a lot of sites are failing. It's easy to get the players, but keeping them around is the real problem and where the cost comes in. And I guess that's why there's so many big brands in those top 10 that we showed you. Okay. So then we also looked at where mobile is heading with online bingo, and also the tablet and the habits that are bringing themselves to the fore around all of that. Now, at present, as many of you will know, there's not many operators that have real play on the mobile bingo app. However, this is really expected to change over the next 12 months as both of the 2 major network providers bring their solutions online to all of their licensees. So in terms of mobile phone usage, this isn't going to show, is it? Basically, this graph was supposed to show that basically 26% of all players are using an Android handset, 57% don't have smartphones, and about 9% are using iPhones. So the 9% for iPhones was lower than we expected, but probably not considering the demographic of the bingo players and the fact that they like brands. They probably grew up on phones that aren't iPhones, and when they're coming up for new contracts, they're going on to the Android platform. So that's a big thing that we found. When looking at what device people are playing bingo on, you can see here that 61% are on laptops and notebooks, 23% on desktop, and then we've got 16% which is taken up by tablet devices and smartphones. Now, we'd have to say this graph will look very different in the next 12 to 18 months. Our view is that tablet devices are going to account for over 25% of the online bingo play in 2014. Of course, it's up to the bingo software providers to provide the games across platforms, and probably what what we're expecting to see is, bingo players like to sit in front of their TV. They'll be sitting there on their tablet device playing online bingo, and we expect that that's the way it's going to look into the future. All right, there you go. There's the lady, and she's sitting there watching TV. So clearly she loves bingo. So there's also a lot of challenges when it comes to mobile technology and bingo, any type of casino game, but bingo in particular. Obviously, no keyboard certainly affects the ability of people to chat in chat rooms, and there's a few operators that are trying to combat this now, but it's a problem, and maybe some players don't mind not chatting, and that's going to suit them anyway. The smaller screen, as you can see, the lady here, she's kind of struggling with a smaller screen, and it limits the display of the bingo tickets and the numbers that are coming out at the same time. Also, bingo operators are so reliant on their side games and their slots. Moving to devices like these, there's going to be less reliance required on that because there's just not the screen space to have the slots running at the same time as the bingo game. So I think there's going to have to be some reshuffling of priorities by operators moving forward. And obviously iPhone and iPads don't currently support Flash. Obviously that's changing, but at the same time, any devices that do support Flash, if you're trying to play current bingo games on them that are Flash based, it's very difficult to play them as it stands today. So I think there's going to have to be, the software providers are really going to have to change the way they think about these devices and how the games run on them. So bingo on tablet and handset is going to be a big thing over the next few years, but it also brings up some opportunities that we see for affiliates and operators. Certainly hybrid apps such as the potential to pre-purchase tickets via a mobile app, which is what this lady's doing here at the moment. That's a big opportunity. Affiliates can also do other things like link with bingo accounts. So there's a lot of opportunities there for affiliates. The use of mobile apps for lead generation tools, and there's not a lot of competition in the market at the moment. So that's a snapshot of just some of the data that we've collected over the past 12 months and interesting trends that are going on in the market. I wanted to now just quickly go through, we do a yearly Bingoport Players' Choice Awards, just go through the winners and also give you the reasons why these people have won. Basically what we do, we give our members the opportunity to vote for the Players' Choice Awards every 12 months. Now today, just to reveal the winners and give you some brief commentary into what real players see that's so good about these operators and what they're doing on a daily basis and why they won these awards. Now the awards are totally decided by our free bingo community at Bingoport, and at the same time we ask players for their feedback on the different operators that they voted for. So I wanted to share some of this feedback with you today. So the first award is for the best online bingo site promotion of last year. Now the reality is that online bingo sites live and die by their promotions nowadays. And this year saw some really big promotions with even bigger marketing messages. These included, what we've got here, such promotions as Tombola's Everyone's a Winner, £500,000, Jackpot Joys, I think that was the Super Jackpot Sundays, William Hill Bingo's Win a Car a Day, and Mecca Bingo's £10,000 daily jackpots, just to name a few. And the winner of that award, as voted by our members, was William Hill Bingo's Win a Car a Day. Now, we quizzed our members about why we felt that they should win, and they found that the mechanics of the promotion to be straightforward. I mean, a car a day, it's a big promotion for any company, and it generated a lot of interest. So they did a great job of using all the channels at their disposal. They did TV ads, print, online, and within their betting shops. And that's clearly not coming up correctly. But basically, what we felt that they did so well was in their betting shops. There's not a lot of operators that have the ability to go out to their betting shops and actually push their bingo through it, and it was probably a risk for William Hill, but by all accounts it worked very well for them. As affiliates, we found that conversions really went up for William Hill through this period, as well as overall interest in the William Hill Bingo brand throughout all of our members. It led us to be able to send William Hill more bingo traffic, more sign-ups, more depositors, and ultimately it brought us more revenue. And I think that they did a really good job of it. And it's probably, it's the reason why, our players really responded well to it. So that was good. So now, Best Bingo TV advertisement. Now this was interesting because, as I said before, over 40 bingo sites have promoted on TV in 2011. The shortlist we presented to members had the top 10, and the best one that was voted by our members was Tombola's We Are Tombola promotion. We've really found that players like the simplicity of the campaign, combined with using the Emmerdale brand. Now, if anyone's ever watched Emmerdale, maybe you haven't, or just watched it once, you will have seen the Tombola bumpers inside and out of the TV ads. We also, this is just some screenshots from the TV ad, which is not working again. But basically, it was a great campaign that they did. The We Are Tombola strapline, basically what they did, they got their players into the TV ad, which is where the We Are Tombola comes from. So they did a great job of that. Now, the next award that was voted was Best Bingo Chat Host Team. Now, as many in the room will know, chat hosts are the first point of contact for most online bingo players that have a bingo site. Now, as well as being excellent diplomats, chat hosts have to create a fun atmosphere while at the same time maintain stringent KPIs as set by the site or the network that they're operating for. I know I've tried to be a chat host in the past and I haven't really done a very good job of it, so it's a tough job. Now, I'm not sure whether this is going to work, but when asked about our members what made the Foxy Bingo chat team so good, we were really surprised to learn that it had nothing to do with the sleazy Foxy Bingo Fox, as you can see here, who is actually a little bit of a celebrity whore. In fact, I'm not going to be able to show it to you, but I did have a bunch of photos. There's Fox, there he is with a few men, and there he is with another celebrity, and who's not really sure why Fox is moving away from him, and that's fine. So as you can see here, we had a few quotes from the members. Basically said the chat hosts always welcome me into the rooms, which obviously we touched on earlier. Foxy plays the best chat games, the hosts make it lots of fun, and I've always had my questions answered by the CMs at Foxy. So Foxy do a really good job with their chat host team, and although they use a network, they actually have a lot of input into how those chat hosts deal with the players on that network. So yeah, it's not an easy job to do. So there's actually been over 50 new bingo sites that launched last year, which surprised us. So it's still a growing industry in terms of new sites. Many of these new sites have been on networks, but there have been some very excellent standalone offerings, bringing new software and new ideas to the industry. Now we wanted to announce that the winner of the best new bingo site was Wonder Bingo this year. With some very stiff competition from other sites that have launched with brand new software that hadn't been seen in the UK before, like X Bingo, Bingo Cams, and Lights Camera Bingo. Our members really loved the different approach that was taken by Wonder Bingo, and basically they had their origin stemming from a Facebook app, and a lot of those elements that they had in the Facebook app were brought into what they do in their real play site. And you can see here that this is their bingo game. They use points and experience points and things like that. And they also have a daily bingo spin wheel that works very well at getting players back and reactivating players. So they're really taking bingo to the next level, and a lot of the comments that we got about them have been very good. They're the way of the future. And just finally, I just wanted to give you the best overall bingo operator, and hopefully link it back and show you why they are that. The winner of that was Tombola, and obviously we mentioned Tombola a lot today. But what is it about Tombola that makes them so special? It was a question that we posed to our players, and some of the comments that we had included, there's the lady, she's playing at Tombola. So some of the comments that we got included that they had a large range of bingo rooms, and chat games and chat rooms. I'm sorry, and they split their rooms down from main bingo rooms into different chat rooms. So people play together, but they chat separately in some of the rooms. But they also have the ability to do that all together if they wanted to. So there's the options there. They've got fun bingo game variations. They have no slot games, so it's very interesting. They're the only operator that doesn't have slots as their side games, and it's seen as a bit of a risk for a lot of operators. But Tombola started that way, and they've continued strong on that direction. And it means the players' money lasts longer, and the players stick around for years rather than months. The games, they load fast, they're easy to understand, they have easy withdrawal processes, they limit the amount of bonus cash that they give away, so it's very easy for people to understand how much money they've got that can be withdrawn at any time. And of course people like Tombola's association with Emmerdale and the trust value that brings with it. So it means that people are reactivated by the Emmerdale campaign at the same time. And the reality is that players don't tend to leave Tombola. Now, if we step back to our research on the top 5 reasons why players leave a bingo site, we've got unimpressive chat hosts, too many players in the rooms, unwelcoming roomies, difficult withdrawal process, and restrictive wagering requirements. Tombola really has addressed all of these very well. We've seen that they actually do intensive and industry-leading chat host training, so it takes that one away. Each bingo room or club has multiple chat rooms, fixing this too many players in the rooms. And as I said before, players can actually choose whether they're in a room with a lot of players or not so many players. And it all comes down to the amount that they give back to the players. Unwelcoming roomies, again, that comes back to the chat hosts, and they've done a great job of that. Difficult, and these final 2 obviously were a big issue for players. They've been very frugal with their bonus cash, as I mentioned before, meaning that they can keep their wagering requirements and withdrawal procedures simple for players. So we can throw those 2 out the window as well. So basically that's Tombola have done very well. And basically I just wanted to finish up basically and say in summary, I wanted to give you a brief snapshot of the market and what's happening in the UK bingo industry. Now, if you're an affiliate, I hope it gives you some information that you can go on with and some ideas. And operators probably the same thing. And I know it was quite quick, but I'm going to finish up there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, or you can drop me an email. I can send you the presentation and any details on the Bingo Trends product. Just contact me. So, thank you very much. Any questions? Happy to answer them. Good.
We do have a question over here. Just wait a second.
Thanks. Did the survey look at anything to do with people moving across from land-based live bingo into online, or vice versa at all?
We haven't done a lot around that region. So to answer your question, no. But that's something that we definitely got for the next quarter. We wanted to look at that pretty closely because there is definitely correlation. We do actually do a lot with Gala and Mecca, so we've seen them very successfully do that, but we're still not sure that they do it that well. There's a lot more they can do in their clubs to get people across, I think, for sure. Very good.
I have a question with regards to demographic. How is the bingo demographic changing online at the moment? Because obviously we've seen the association with Emmerdale, but also an association with stuff like Sunderland Football Club. Mm-hmm. So where does that put the modern demographic of online bingo?
Yep. I think it goes to the way what I mentioned before about saturation in the market, and I think bingo operators are really trying to look at different demographics that they can touch now. So they've obviously done the Emmerdale, the Jeremy Kyle, that side of things, the daytime. There's a bit happening with obviously The Only Way is Essex. There's been, Wink have tried that. There's other things going on. So I think the demographics definitely, they're trying to reach a younger demographic. And I've spoken to a few operators in the last week or so that are really trying to get that younger demographic now and educate them on the market and where that's moving to. So I think it's changing. I think the market is trying to change that so that they can have a better chance of getting more players And as more people come online, and I guess it comes back to the whole tablet usage and the mobile usage, and the younger players, it's all they're going to know in the next few years. So it's very important, I think, that the industry moves forward in that area.
And are we also seeing more of the sort of male demographic picking up the bingo product?
I think there's more males in general at play than most people realise. But yes, it's definitely coming that way. But they have different habits when they come to the bingo sites as well. They might play a bit of bingo, but it's still the side games that they play a lot more of. But the bingos, they love it, and that's what gets them there, and they do enjoy that social side of it. So I think there's definitely males.
Obviously, social is a big part of what bingo is as a game, and brings people to the sites. What about affiliates looking at social media for marketing opportunities in terms of converting players, etc.?
Yeah, look, there's affiliates that are doing a lot in that space already that I've seen, and I think social is interesting because do players want to be seen that they're playing through face? Do they want their friends to see that they're playing? It's a question. Some don't mind it. You look at some of the bingo sites and how many people they have that like them. Some of them, it's hard for them to get the sheer scale, given how many members they have overall of likers on Facebook. So I think there's a certain number of players that like that side of it, but there's a big amount that don't want to be a part of that. But what we've seen, Facebook ads seem to work well in some ways in getting people off Facebook and over to the bingo sites. So. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Okay, and just finally from me anyway,
Yeah.
Just talking about the cross-selling opportunities between other gaming products. You mentioned the side games, which are part and parcel of modern online bingo. Are you seeing any trends that between demographics of people cross-selling, or the ability to cross-sell from bingo to casino, for instance, to poker, other things?
I think we haven't seen a lot going that way, but we've seen a lot going the other way, because there's a lot of big brand sports books out there now that are doing bingo. William Hill, as I mentioned, and we see we get them in on bingo, but they do play other verticals as well. And as affiliates, it's great for us to be able to see that the operators are moving them across and able to do that and actually make money out of different ways that they're playing. So yeah, we don't have great success promoting directly casino and poker and that sort of thing to our members, but once they get to these, we see more men go to those sites to play as well because of that brand association. So I guess it's kind of the way we see it working. Yeah.
Does anyone else have any further questions? If not, I think we'll wrap up there. So thank you very much to Scott.
Great, thank you.
For the presentation. Again, if you do have any other questions that you'd rather keep personal or don't want to shout out now, do speak to Scott afterwards.